Happy Thursday, Grace family and friends. And today we have
Hey!
Tamara. We're joining each other again.
I know it's been a while. I always feel like it's always a while when me and you get to go together.
Right. I know. It's have to say, okay, you too. It's like, let me know. I'm excited.
Me
I'm
too.
happy when we get together.
Yes.
Okay. So Sunday, the pastor, he spoke from Acts chapter 10,
Yes.
verses 1 through 8.
Yeah.
And his message was God connects us.
Yes.
So tell me what resonated with you. What spoke to you?
What really spoke to me was the part about being connected to godly people. And it made me think about, this past weekend, my uncle, he passed, but the funeral was wonderful. You know, when people get up and they start talking about a person, it was so crazy. Different walks of life got up to speak about him, but everybody talked about how connected he was to God. So he was a coach, a mechanic, he was well-rounded, but at the same time, each and every person said the same thing. He was really connected to God. So that goes to show, even in our lives, even for me, working at Sam's or doing anything that I'm doing, just make sure if I'm connected with God, everything else, it really doesn't matter. Then the right people will show up in your life,
Like the pastor stated that you have to leave the devil alone.
Yes.
To connect with God. Get
Yeah.
connected. And one thing that came to mind is it's a small world.
Yes. Don't we know?
right. But there was this lady who used to come here to church. She used to be a part of church, of Grace, and she's from New York. I'm from New York, and so we connected.
Of
that
course.
way, okay.
Of course.
Ended up being good friends. How she had 2 boys, and I had a son, and I had my son's birthday party. He's at my son's her birthday party, her children. So fast forward to 2 years ago, my brother, he called me and he said, "Do you know?" And he said the name, and I said, "Well, I know Angela, but the name wasn't connected, the last name." So, and he said, "Well, go on Facebook." And so I went on Facebook and I said, "You know her?" And he said, "Yeah." Her brother and he were friends.
Oh, wow.
She knew my family. Well, my father, he remarried. She knew that basically my father and his family in New York. And she and I connected
way down here.
Going to the same church. We knew we were both from New York, had no idea. She pretty much grew up with my father and his family.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So it's a way. And we became such good friends. I remember she got pregnant, and I was at her shower, and my brother sent me a picture where she was at, my brother was at her brother's birthday party. So then I sent her a picture saying, "You remember this when, your sons were at my son's birthday party." Just the connection there. And
but that's crazy how God places certain people in your life in certain times, and it's always when you think back on it, it's like, I needed that person right then.
Right.
Yeah. It's the connections that, especially when that was one of the bigger points too. Because as long as we're connected to Christ, He'll lead and guide us and direct our path.
That's right.
And so once we are leaned in and tapped into God, it's crazy how certain connections that you didn't think, would basically be in the forefront. God, it's almost like makes me think of a scavenger hunt. You have to go to each place to get to where you're trying to get to the big prize. And God does that. He places different people in your life to get you to where it is. As long as you're focused on Him, He'll place these different people in your life so you can get to the place that you're trying to get to.
Exactly. That's so true. And sometimes it takes someone, you need to know someone to get you
Yes.
to somewhere you want to go. Like
Yeah.
maybe a job. And
Yes.
For a job, sometimes it takes, God will connect you with someone.
Yes.
It's kind of like how I got my job. A friend of mine called and said, okay, Bank of America is hiring. So I'm like, oh, okay. So I applied, and so that connection, he was the one that made me, I had to do everything.
Right.
But he was the one that said that connection
Right.
of getting the job. And then I was thinking of another position that this friend of mine, her mother worked for. It was the state of Texas, and she said, "Oh, they're hiring." So I applied, and I had to do the same steps as everyone else,
Right.
assessment and everything. But sometimes, it's a connection.
Right.
So and that's God just making those
Yeah.
pieces, making those pieces for you.
Yeah, it's like he
connecting those
lines
pieces.
everything up.
Exactly. People, the different people in our lives, there's God just putting the puzzles together of where we need to be. Now, sometimes we don't listen, we don't take that path,
Yeah.
and we can't blame anybody but ourselves.
Right.
It's like, what? That's what God was trying to tell me.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I know I should have listened, but God, I hear you now. But then, that's the thing though. Once God gets our attention, He'll place another person or another thing or something else to connect us in the right path that we should be going.
Right. That is so true. So we just have to listen.
Yes.
And realize this is God.
Yes.
talking. This is the Spirit.
Yeah.
Like something is telling me that's nothing but the Spirit.
Yes. Yeah.
Just like anything else you'd like to say?
I think it really just boils down to having your first connection should be your connection with Christ.
Exactly.
That's really what it boils down to.
Yes.
If your connection with Christ is strong enough, He's going to give you your connection with people, and He'll give you your connection with grace. So as long as we're connected to Christ, all the other connections will follow.
That's what I was going to say. We have that connection through faith. We have the connection through grace.
Yes.
And thank God.
Yes.
That He such a forgiving God.
Yes, He is.
Because when we haven't listened to Him,
And we don't.
what happens? He forgives.
Yes.
He's such a forgiving God.
I know.
I'm so thankful for that.
Yes.
And sometimes we don't realize that it is God. Like, think back when we were younger.
Yeah.
We just didn't think it was God.
Right.
We thought, okay, yeah, we made it.
Yes.
Oh man, everything worked out.
Exactly.
This is the glory.
Thank you. Right. It's like, thank you, Jesus.
Yes, thank you for protecting me.
Yes.
Because of that crazy decision that
Right.
I made.
Right.
You brought me through it.
And He will continue to do just that. We just have to keep our focus and stay connected to
And
Christ.
stay connected and stay in faith.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So we have really good news, right?
Yes, we do. Okay, everybody. We are no longer at 2020 South Collins Street.
Nope.
We are going to
1310 Collard Street. Yeah.
in Fort Worth,
Yes.
the Metroplex. We're still part of the Metroplex.
Right.
Okay? So please join us. Do not come here into Arlington. But
No.
Please join us at 1310 College Street.
Yes. And enjoy the rest of your week.
And remember to
to
always
experience